Thank you for joining me for a review of two commemorative models for the Warhammer 40,000 game. So it is 2017 and we are into the 30th anniversary year of the release of a Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader rulebook. So yeah, a big year, 30 years of our favourite grimdark science fiction war game. And I think we're probably going to see quite a lot of commemorative orientated products looking back to that original year as a result, and one of these has already been released in limited quantities, the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook being the first. But I thought it would be a good time to look back at some other anniversary models that Games Workshop has released, and I just got the opportunity as well to look at a couple which are sort of going to move out of my possession soon. So yeah, here we have them. So there's two. The first, Warhammer 40,025, is a re-imaging of the Crimson Fist leader from the famous Rogue Trader cover artwork by John Sibbick. And this is a Finecast model that was released in, I believe it was 2011, if I remember rightly. Which I think 1986 was the first year 40k product started coming onto the line. That's certainly what the box says, 2011. And then the second model we have is the Imperial Space Marine from 2016. So this was released last year in, I think it was April, if I remember right, because I picked it up at Salute in London. And yes, and this is a commemorative model of the first ever Space Marine miniature re-imaged in plastic, and that model is by Bob, or the original model was by Bob Naismith. So yeah, I thought it'd be good fun to have a look at these two commemorative models. It's also an interesting, so we've got Finecast and then we've got plastic, so we can I'll probably just reflect a little bit on the relative merits of the two mediums. So let's start with Warhammer 40,025. So yeah, this is the first thing that grabs you about this is it comes in a very high quality, sturdy box, and the artwork wraps around it in its entirety. One thing it doesn't do, these were sold because they're well out of production now. These were sold wrapped, so the obvious thing is it didn't really show you much of what you were getting, apart from this picture here, which just shows you the shoulders and head of the Crimson Fist leader, and a description of what it is. Normally, you actually get a picture on a closed box like this. You would normally get a picture of what the model is, so it's a bit unusual. However, once you've bought it and you open it, you find that inside we're treated to some very good photos, some really nice photos depicting this model, and it comes on a diorama base, and he also it's not just the model himself, the Marine himself, it comes with this impressive banner as well, and this banner is a really nice bit of kit, because it's actually relief sculpted, so it's all bas relief. It's not this isn't painted on, this is painted into the actual design on the banner. So a great thing for Crimson Fist, or indeed probably, you know, Imperial Fist and successors could adapt it to their use. And here we go, he's holding aloft the severed head of the Orc Warrior. As I said, one thing, the packaging quality on this was actually extremely high. It even includes a magnet lock for the cover. You might say it's almost a bit ostentatious. These packs themselves must have cost quite a bit of money, and I think the model actually cost £25 at the time. Anyway, let's open it up and see what's inside. Now, I've used a diorama base for mounting one of my Contemptor Dreadnoughts, so don't have that here to look at. We're just going to, in that case, we're just going to review the miniature himself. But to be honest, that's really what this is about, and where the interest lies from the design point of view. So, comes in a clear clamshell package. A bit of luck. Open it. So first the sundries. You get a So that's 60mm, yeah, 60mm base to mount the diorama on. Then you also get a 25mm base, so you can put the Marine on that separately. So that's good, you can do both. And then, right, let's look at the banner first. So as I said, this is all bas relief, and it's very well executed. And you have the Crimson Fist logo above and below the clenched fist symbol. You have these lanyards with aquillas hanging from them, and aquila at the top with a fist symbol mounted on it, and some laurels and battle honours at the bottom. So I think if you were looking for a banner, you know, for a 40k force of Crimson Fist, you couldn't, or indeed Imperial Fist and their successors, which could adapt this to. This is an impressive model. If you were to use this, I mean, I would certainly drill this pole out a good distance and mount some stout steel wire into it for strength, because just this is way too flimsy for support. I mean, moulding quality is, it's not bad. I mean, this was in the earliest stages of Finecast, this wasn't. The top isn't great, and that would need filling and some sanding to get the shape looking good. But because they put the mould around the edge, there's no faults on the actual banner itself. Okay, let's take a look at our Crimson Fist leader. So, as is often the case with Finecast models, there are a whole selection of parts on a single frame. And we've got his torso, a backpack, a plasma pistol, his helmet, and then, if we do a flip, the severed head of the Orc warrior, so famously held aloft. So this guy is wearing Mark 6 powered armour. He's armed with a plasma pistol. The plasma pistol is an interpretation of the original artwork, because in the original artwork he had this sort of, I don't know, some sort of gauntlet weapon. I don't know if it was supposed to be a flamer, but it was reimaged, and probably sensibly so, as a plasma pistol connected into his armour. And in game that would perhaps make for a good mastercrafted plasma pistol. So yeah, as I say, this guy's wearing Mark 6 armour. We have a faithful reproduction of the John Civic horizontal air grills on this helmet. There are some parts of this model that the armour has been reinterpreted on, though, and one area is the crest is the sensor crest, or the array is mounted centrally down the middle of the helmet, whereas on the original artwork it's off center, and you can see that's the case with all the Marine warriors on the front. There you go, you can see it very clearly on this guy. If you wanted to get a helmet that was, you could convert that, but if you really were a stickler for detail, you could buy a Forge World Raven Guard kit to get these horizontal vents with a helmet with an off-center sensor crest. So, other things. So, this is modern style Mark 6 armour. So it's got this two-part chest plate. The original Mark 6s were a single body piece. And indeed, in the original 40k rules, Marine power armour was described as having flexible sections. The backpack has got a Crimson Fist symbol on it, the skull. However, unfortunately, this is a Mark 7 style backpack, or Mark 4, I suppose, equally, but it's not a proper Mark 6 with these ridges across the top. I think it's a little bit of a shame they didn't carry that design style through. But it's a modern re-imaging, so you could always swap it if you didn't want it to be completely authentic. A very authentic reproduction of the skull-headed eagle from his left shoulder. And there's the skull and laurel banner as well. Now, if you flip it round, the sculptor did then go a little bit, let his mind run right with insignia and iconography icons. And he put purity seals, a banner, a skull, a fist, another laurel, more purity seals, a Terminator Honours amulet even on his power glove. So for me, I suppose, well, you can take it either way. You know, either you've got a model with absolutely loads of detail that is going to look great to paint, or it's also perhaps a bit fussy though, and breaks from the style of the original artwork. So, you know, you could take that or leave it. You could always take those details off if you wanted something more plain yet authentic to the original artwork. And then finally, we've got the orc head. And yeah, that looks really great. That's got all sorts of conversion opportunities. Lots of giblets there. Humorously, you could stick that head on a living orc to turn it into a model of a live orc, which would be a nice thing if you were an orc player to taunt Marines with. Now, this is a Finecast model, and this is quite early Finecast, and it does have some of the unfortunate quality issues that Finecast models did display. Now, on the underside of this power glove, this ridge here, there's lots of air bubble pitting, which you would want to fill. And more significantly, and if you can get the light right, it might be a bit tricky. There we go. You can see on the fingers of the power glove, just struggling to get the focus, bear with me a second. You can see there are some air bubbles which have destroyed part of the detail of his fingers and the thumb, so that would need to be rebuilt. And that sort of air bubbling was common on these earlier Finecast models, which didn't have many air runoffs. But yeah, a nice miniature, very well detailed. I mean, Finecast, I'm not overly keen on Finecast. It's not a particularly nice material to work with. It doesn't sand very well, and it doesn't cut very well with a sharp knife. You know, so it's neither, you know, both plastic and forge-oiled resin and metal really are all easier materials to work with from the point of view of your finish than this stuff. And, you know, I think Finecast has largely been consigned to the bin of history, and it's becoming a rarer and rarer production material as GW moves to plastic more and more, so it's a bit of a relic of its time as well. But an excellent model, and if you you know, if you want a character for your Crimson Fist Force, etc., it's an excellent choice. Right, so let's move forward 5 years to 2016 and look at the Imperial Space Marine. So, the Imperial Space Marine was released last year, 2016, as a commemorative model for the 30th anniversary of the release of the original Imperial Space model, LE02 limited edition model. This guy, sculpted by Bob Naismith, and if you look at my Retrohammer video, I did a review on this Imperial Space Marine and its origins. Yeah, so it's got a nice box, but it's not OTT packaging like the 25th anniversary one felt to be, and hopefully that might have saved a bit of cost on the model. But yeah, nice box. Again, the Civic artwork has been used and wraps around, but this time we get a nice view of the miniature himself. So quite unlike the 25th anniversary model, we can see exactly what we're getting, and there's a whole range of images. Right, let's open this up and get him out. So it comes in this kind of clear, well, not clear, sorry, this black shell held in place, and you just tweak it out. You get a modern style 32mm base. So of course all Marines now on big bases, well, certainly ones you buy, which at least no end of confusion in the rules department, but anyway, and yeah, and here we have it. So this is a very nice, cleverly designed model. It's monopose, but through that it's got an excellent three-dimensional depth to it. and the sculptor has really captured the feel of the original model well here. So first you've got the tight-fitting calf armour of the original Space Marine, as opposed to the wide-splayed greaves of modern Marines. Captured the heavy cabling design well. Got this perforated armour, which was on the original model. A re-imaging of the original style backpack, power pack. His main weapon, which is a disintegrator combi weapon. That's really nicely detailed, that. Slightly changed design, but I think it looks really good. And the helmet, again with a heavy cabling. Sidearm with a disintegration pistol, a knife and pouches, and then you get the classic studded shoulder pad, and then a choice of 2 shoulder pads for his right arm, depending on what look you want to create. So yeah, really a really nice looking model, this one, and yeah, very cleverly designed, I think. I think there's some rules in here as well. There we go. So you get the modern style instructions based on the CAD designs that they build these off these days. Oh, there we go. Fold it out the right way. Nice and clear. And you also get some rules. Let's take a look at these rules. So, let's see. One Space Marine in your army can be replaced with the Imperial Space Marine at no additional points cost. So he's a free upgrade, so I guess any Marine. It says one Space Marine, I guess a standard Marine. That's a standard Marine profile. He's unique, so only one. Which is a shame because his war gear is excellent. And he gets a disintegration combi gun, a disintegration pistol, close combat weapon, frag and crack grenades, and, well, it doesn't say there, but powered armour as well. Special rules, and they shall know no fear, chapter tactics and combat squad. So standard Space Marine infantry rules there. Right. Now, disintegration weapons. This is why every Space Marine army wants an Imperial Space Marine. These deadly combi weapons are relics from the dark age of technology. Whilst the main bolter fires salvos of mass reactive bolts, it is the gun's secondary weapon that is most feared, for it can reduce a target to atoms in the blink of an eye. Space Marine can choose to fire either the main bolt gun or the disintegration gun secondary weapon. You can't fire both in the same turn. Oh! Note that unlike other combi weapons, the secondary weapon can be fired more than once during the battle. Well, that's really good, isn't it? I do like that, so yeah. Standard bolt gun rules, but look at this. So disintegration gun, range 18, strength 5, AP2, rapid fire, gets hot, instant death. Yeah, now that stat line, this guy is great for one-shotting enemy heroes. Yeah, I think once you get to 9 inches range, you get 2 shots a turn. Brilliant. Okay, you do have a slight risk around melting yourself if it gets hot, but you know, you would take it for the instant death. And then a disintegration pistol, which is the same thing, just as a pistol weapon. So if you're going to make an assault, you can use that. I mean, even against the plethora of monstrous creatures that exist in the 40k universe these days, that'll be handy, very handy. And I guess with the upcoming introduction of Mechanicum battle automata in the Battle of Syraxis Imperial Armour book, these guys are going to find some increased application as well. Yeah, so if you're a Marine force, get one of these guys, you want it. Anyway, there you go. So that is a quick overview and review of the 25th, the Warhammer 40,000 25th anniversary Crimson Fist, and then the 30th anniversary Imperial Space Marine model as well. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll speak to you next time. Goodbye.